Hello, everyone, and welcome to our July Energy, Astrology, and Intuition. Thank you for zooming in person or watching this later on YouTube. We are all connected in this eternal now moment. I'm so happy you are here because together we're going to focus on the energies of Leo. Leo love, loving your own heart. Focusing on these Leo energies together will activate them more strongly in our own lives, meaning we'll be on the lookout for them and we'll be more apt to notice them when they show up. And the more we can love our own hearts, the more love we can share with others in the world. For Leo, all the world's a stage, and Leo loves to show up, be seen, be heard, and be loved. During our presentation, we'll have some opportunities to check in with our heart and see if we can learn something new about our heart that may help us love it or simply get to know it a little better. How well do you know your own heart? In order to love it, do you think it's important to know it, know how it works, and know what it is capable of? My name is Mary Beth Wollenschleicher. I'm the creator of Love Your Life in Sync. Love Your Life in Sync was designed to help you learn more about your heart, how it works, and how to work with it. And Leo is the astrological sign that rules the heart. Our hearts are often what inspires us to do what we do, whether we are aware of this or not. And each of us connects uniquely with our own heart. For example, take a moment now and point to yourself. Go ahead, just point to yourself. Where did you point? Did you point to your head? Did you point to your foot? When asked to point to themselves, most people will point to their hearts, demonstrating that there is almost an unconscious awareness that we do connect ourselves with our hearts. Learning how to connect with your own heart and practicing what your heart is capable of is what Love Your Life in Sync is all about. At Love Your Life in Sync, we do this through sharing and teaching heart harmonizing skills, which are real skills for real life. We also mentor you along the way so that you can turn those skills into habits, and then you can sync up more with your life rather than be overwhelmed by it. And let these heart harmonizing skills become your natural way of relating to life. Then you become more receptive to your heart's own intelligence and intuition. And you may begin to say with greater regularity and ease, I love my life. We also offer astrology classes and readings to help you become more self-aware and learn how to work with your heart as you make choices that support the life you want to live. You can think of astrology, to use Leo terms, as setting the stage for your life. When you were born, each planet, which represents a specific energy, was in a particular sign. And you can think of that sign as being a costume. The moment you took your first breath, there was a unique backdrop in the sky of planets in costumes, planets in specific signs, lining up, forming patterns in a specific way. For example, we all have the sun in our charts, but some of us have the sun wearing the Leo costume. If you don't have the sun wearing the Leo costume, there are 11 other possible costumes it could be wearing because there are a total of 12 astrological signs. But rest assured, you have the sun somewhere in your chart, and the sun is the center of our solar system. In astrology, the energy of the sun represents our center, our essence. A little bit more about the sun, which is the ruler of Leo, a bit later in the presentation. This is true for all the planets. We all have all of them in our charts, but the signs they are in and how they line up are different for each of us. Understanding the energies the planets represent, the costume they wear, that can all be helpful to understand how and why we do what we do. And when we understand how and why we do what we do, we can become more self-aware and more conscious of the choices we make. If we combine self-awareness with heart harmonizing skills, which teach us how to work with our hearts, we can consciously start to choose differently. So these two, the self-awareness and our hearts, they go together like fireflies on a Leo summer night. Astrology and heart harmonizing just work together. Let's practice heart harmonizing by giving our hearts some love. So if you feel comfortable, please close your eyes to minimize distractions. And you can put your hand on your heart if that feels good. And focus your attention in the area of your heart. Imagine your breath flowing in and out of your heart as you breathe a little slower, a little deeper, finding an easy, comfortable rhythm with equal inhales and exhales. The equal inhales and exhales help soothe the nervous system. As you continue focusing on your heart, think of something that makes you smile. Let your body feel the smile. Feel the gratitude. Feel appreciation in your body. See if you can feel gratitude in your nose, the tip of your nose, or the top of your head. Let your feet ground into gratitude. And then focus again on your heart. Imagining your heart is like a little sun. Say hello to your heart. Remember that you have one. Remember that we all have one. And how often do we talk to our hearts? How often do we say, hello, heart? Thank you, heart. Thank you for beating all the time. Morning, noon, and night. I don't even have to remind you. Thank goodness. Thanking your heart can be a way of showing your heart some love. Let's start radiating love and appreciation to our hearts. So much gratitude for all the work the heart does. And putting our attention on the heart is a really good use of our energy. Because when we focus on the heart, so many things change physically, mentally, and emotionally in our body, and hormonally. When we get in sync with the heart, when we get coherent, there are so many shifts that happen. So as we thank our heart and radiate some love to our heart, let's start allowing that love, that Leo love, that big love, to radiate throughout our whole body. From the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. From inside our body to outside our body, to the space we're sitting in. Radiate gratitude and love. Two beautiful heart qualities to the space you're sitting in. Leo heart qualities also include courage and strength. So let's start radiating courage and strength to our bodies and to the space we're sitting in. Now you might think of someone in particular that's maybe having a rough go of things at the moment. Send some courage and strength to someone you love or someone you care about or a particular part of the planet. Just imagine your heart radiating this energy of courage and strength, the Leo qualities, sending Leo love to someone you love, using your heart to do it. And now let's radiate some Leo love all throughout the whole planet, throughout the whole solar system, and direct it towards the sun, which is our life force energy, our source. Let's send gratitude and love and appreciation to the sun. Without the sun, our planet would be a pretty cold place, no doubt. We probably wouldn't be here. So using the power of big Leo love, radiate love out into the planet, into the solar system, all the way to the sun. Leo is big and showy. The sun is big and showy in the sky during Leo season. So let's return the favor. And on your next inhale, receive some of that Leo sun back. Some of that courage and strength, revitalizing you. And when you're ready, you can come back into the physical space you're sitting in and open your eyes. And we'll continue. Okay, where is Leo going to show up? Well, what do you need to know to be on the lookout for Leo? Well, Leo is a fixed fire sign, like a campfire. It's celebratory, it's reliable, it's fixed. So it's contained. It's also strong. And a campfire has the will and the determination to burn bright, big, and bold. And most people enjoy a good campfire. And Leo is definitely about joy. Campfires provide warmth, and they're a source for roasting marshmallows or weenies, things that we associate with fun and adventure in summertime. Campfires can also be a place where ghost stories are told or songs are sung, a place to entertain or to be entertaining or to be entertained. A place that sparks joy. That's what Leo is about. And with Leo being this fixed energy, there's a tenacity about Leo. I'm familiar with the phrase, the show must go on. Well, that's Leo. That's Leo digging in. The fixed signs like to dig in. The show must go on. When I was a kid, just last year, in my neighborhood, we used to put on variety shows. During Leo season, during the summertime, we would get together and we would create dance choreography and sing songs and put on plays and just have so much fun. We would enjoy the process of putting on a show, like the practice of it. We would enjoy that as much as we enjoyed putting on the show. So Leo is about putting on the show and enjoying life. The planetary ruler of Leo, as I mentioned earlier, is the sun. The sun is strongest, brightest, and hottest in the sky during the Leo season. Our solar system has the sun at its core. All the planets revolve around the sun. And Leo is associated with the king and the queen. And the court revolves around what the king and the queen want, say, and do. So too with the lion, the king of beasts. Leos like to be in command of the situation. And generally, because Leos are so engaging, they can easily be the center of attention. The sun also rules our will, our confidence, our sense of self, and our ability to be generous. So these are all the things that might get a little more airtime during Leo season. These are things we either might think about or we might be challenged by. We might have to demonstrate our will or our confidence, or we might be questioning our sense of self. What am I all about? What does my heart want? Do I remember I have a heart? Do I need to get better with my heart, my sense of who I am? If that's where I pointed to when I asked you to point to yourself, did you point to your heart? But Leo is really about having fun too. So Leo rules things like amusement parks, which when do we go to amusement parks? In the summer during Leo season. So Leo's about having fun, being playful. It's romantic and it's romance. It's also associated with balloons. Balloons are filled with hot air. Leo is hot, the fire sign. Leo is also associated with gaming, gambling, thrones, crowns, crown jewels, the courage to be seen, and the confidence to stand alone. And the king and the queen energy, that energy has the ability to trust themselves and be aware of external, and they trust themselves, and at the same time, they're aware of external pressures. They have to know what's going on in the court, but they still can maintain their sense of sovereignty. So Leo is about honoring and respecting others as well as yourself. Leo is about developing confidence in your own gifts and abilities. And this is where tuning into the heart can be a great source of wisdom. The answers lie within you. So what are some of the things you can do during Leo season? Well, you might want to rekindle what lights you up and brings you enthusiasm. Maybe it's singing in the shower. Maybe it's dancing. When's the last time you danced? Just put on some music and dance, or go out dancing. Do what lights you up and rekindles the joy of being alive, the joy of having a pulse, the joy of being able to move. Something really practical to do during Leo season is to drink sun tea. All you do is place a tea bag in a jar of water and set it in the sun. And then you're getting that energy of the sun. You're soaking up that energy. You can spend time under the sun, doing what you enjoy. Leo is motivated by what touches the heart because Leo rules the heart. At the end of tonight's presentation, during the final thoughts segment, I found a story to share with you that really touched my heart. I hope it will touch your heart as well. So some questions you might want to ask the self during Leo season. Am I really doing what I love? Am I really busy? Or am I effective? Am I just busy or am I effective? Being effective. And how can I clarify who my own true authority is? Well, one way to access your own true authority is to get in touch with your intuition. And we're going to do an exercise now to work with our intuition. We're going to look at some tarot cards. We're going to ask a couple questions and we're going to read the cards. So no worries if you don't know how to read tarot. If you can read pictures, you can glean a personal message from the tarot cards. A tarot reading is all about what the picture means to you. And Leo rules the heart, so that can help us access our intuition and figure out what it means to us. To prepare to access your intuition for guidance, I find two things really helpful. First, again, in Leo terms, we need to set the stage. We need to check in with ourselves and our heart. Where are the two of you at right now? Are you in sync with your heart, working in harmony? Or did you forget you have a heart? We will set the stage with a brief grounding and heart harmonizing technique to get in sync with our hearts. The second thing to remember is not to overthink things as you consider the questions and look at the cards. You're invited to simply see what you notice. Then, focusing on the question, you ask yourself, what is getting my attention in this moment? How is what I am noticing answering the question? How does this relate to that? Reading the cards this way provides a very personal wisdom reading. That's why we do this on the call, to give all those present that wish to a chance to work with their own intuition and then share their wisdom with the group. Often one person will see something that another person didn't see, but because that person spoke up and shared, then the other person will see something else that they missed, but now they're seeing it in a new light because of what someone else shared, the first person. Doing a live tarot reading is a practice that allows us to exercise our intuitive muscles and to share our wisdom. Okay, let's remember we all have hearts, and let's connect with them by asking for creative guidance as we interpret these cards and setting our attention to get the most helpful guidance for the group that we can from this reading. So once again, I'm going to invite you to focus your attention in the area of the heart. Imagine your breath flowing in and out of the heart as you breathe a little slower and a little deeper, finding an easy, comfortable rhythm with equal inhales and exhales. And this time, imagine the solar rays from the sun shining right into your heart and your solar plexus area, your abdomen, the whole area between your neck and your hips, that whole area that includes the heart. Letting yourself be blessed by the sun during the Leo season. Allowing the sun to warm us and strengthen us, to revitalize us and reconnect us with our heart, reminding us that we have a heart. Hello, heart. Thank you for being my heart. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your intuition. Thank you for letting me relax and just trust that whatever is supposed to unfold in these cards and this reading for me will be just perfect for me right now. So take another couple of breaths, letting yourself relax in trust, letting yourself relax in your own heart's wisdom. All right. Take another breath and let's start focusing on these questions as I begin to shuffle the deck. The first question is, why is it important to love my heart now? So keep breathing. Keep doing that heart focused breathing, loving your heart. Oops, I just had a card jump out. Gonna keep shuffling though. That'll be our jumper card. So it'll be an extra card for us. Why is it important to love my heart now? And our second question is, what can I do to love my heart even more? Love my own heart more. How can I show my heart more love? Okay, I feel like we're shuffled enough, and I'm going to pick two cards. The first card is the Six of Pentacles reversed. And the second card, what can I do to love my own heart more? Is the Sun, which is a major arcana card. And the card that jumped out while I was shuffling is also a major arcana card, the Judgment card. So the major cards represent big areas in our life. So we're going to pause the recording, and those that are present that wish to can participate in the group reading. And if you're watching this on YouTube, when we pause the recording, you're going to be able to see the cards. So if you're watching on YouTube, when you see the slide with the questions and the cards, you can pause the recording and you can play along with us. What did you notice in the cards? What is jumping out at you? And how might that relate to the question? And I'm going to invite you to resist Googling the images to read someone else's interpretation of what the card symbolizes. When you feel you've given your intuition a good workout and you're ready to hear what others' intuition is shared, you can resume the video and listen up. You may want to pause the video again and take another look at the cards to see if you get any further insights. Now I am going to pause. Okay, we're back. So here's what we came up with. Why is it important to love my heart now? And we've got the Six of Coins reversed. Does anyone want to share on that? Okay. All right. Well, I'll start sharing. If somebody wants to jump in, feel free. So one of the things we said was there was an individual, looks like a wealthy individual, and there were two other individuals, and there's a set of scales, and the card was reversed. So because of the scales, we thought the individual was trying to be fair, and maybe they were learning how to share with others. Oh, and then we had a discussion, like one person is receiving, and some of us thought, well, the other person is sort of begging and they're not going to get anything. And then some of us said, well, maybe they already got something. So this whole idea about sharing with others without, like, so we don't know if the other person got anything. We don't know if the other person will get anything. But so it's like sharing with others without expecting anything in return. And then because it was upside down, we said it has to do with giving to yourself. And trying to read my own handwriting, giving to yourself instead of expecting to get from others. And maybe it was upside down, so we can think about how we approaching. Are we approaching others, or are we in our heart space when people ask us for stuff? Or are we in our heart space when we ask ourselves for stuff? And then we said, if our heart was represented by one of these figures, which one would it be? And we agreed that it would probably be the person in red. So the heart has the ability to give and to receive. And to answer the question, then, why is it important to love my heart now? With the scales, maybe loving our hearts, remembering that we have a heart, remembering to love our hearts, will help us put us in greater balance. And we also said that we didn't know the two individuals, one in orange, one in blue, was one male and one female, or one yin energy and one yang energy, or was one giving and receiving. And then we got back to the idea of balance. And it probably doesn't matter what their gender is, but we kind of like the idea of balancing between giving and receiving. So in order for me to stay in balance and to be able to give and to receive, that's why it's important to love my heart now. And we'll go into the second question, unless anybody in the audience wants to chime in. Did I miss anything, or do you want to add anything? Disagree? Complain? Anybody? Okay, we'll move on to the second question. What can I do to love my own heart more? And we got a major arcana card, number 19, which is the sun. And what we saw in the card, what some of us saw, anybody want to speak up? Mary Jo, do you want to speak up?
No, I think you're doing a beautiful job interpreting everything and summing it all up.
Okay. All right. All right. So actually, I think it was Mary Jo that pointed out that the sun was about being open and about gratitude. And the sun is the ruler of Leo. So we said, well, this is perfect timing, because we're talking about what can we do now to love our heart more. And we're in Leo season. So the timing is excellent to get this card. And then Bridget, you said some lovely things about love and creation.
Yeah, so love is creative. It's love that created the universe. It's love that created each of us. And so when we're in that space of love, that's when we are creative. And I think it's important to remember we're co-creators. And so if we're in our heart space, then we're creating things from a space of love. And so that's why, and in order to love your own heart more, you want to be able to give yourself the same love that you want to measure out to others. And so we do that by being non-judgmental toward ourselves and allow that creativity to come through us, through our heart.
Yeah, and Leo is such a great time to practice being creative. Leo is definitely associated with creativity. So just summarized, what can I do to love my own heart more? I can find ways to be creative, and then that will end up, because love and creativity go together. If we can be more creative, we'll be generating more love. So thank you, Bridget, and thank you, Mary Jo. We also said that the sun card has a little baby on it on a white horse, and the sun card is often associated with our inner child and freedom. That red cape that's sort of flying through the air is associated with freedom. So maybe what we can do to love our own heart more is get in touch with the inner child, and the inner child often just wants to play. Like, what did you do as a kid? I talked about being in a variety show. And somebody else on the call said they did the same thing when they were a kid. How can you play with your own creativity and just be in that innocent space? It's because it's so freeing. So loving our hearts more with being creative and playing, those were our two things. And then the third card that was the jumper that sort of ties the whole thing together was another major arcana card, It was number 20, which is the judgment card. And the judgment card follows the sun card. So there's a connection. There's always all these patterns in astrology, always there. They're always repeating themselves at different speeds and different levels. But the fact that we got the judgment card to tie this whole thing together, the judgment card has Archangel Gabriel blowing the horn. The red wings are often associated with Gabriel blowing the horn, and it's, you know, Gabriel is about communication, and the people are like rising out of their tomb. So it's sort of an Easterish card, like rising from the dead and starting over. And maybe it's about a new beginning. And who really is judging us? One of the questions we asked is, you know, what's our own inner authority? How can we claim our own inner authority and get in touch with that? And our inner authority, our heart doesn't judge us. Our heart does not judge. So getting the judgment card on top of all of it, you know. Oh, and another thing. Oh, Bridget, you said this. Do you want to talk about what you said about being afraid of judgment at death and that whole thing?
Well, yes. I mean, many of us, a lot of us, were raised with this belief that, you know, we're going to face this great judgment when we pass from this life. And I mean, from my personal perspective, I think I don't think there's any judgment. I think that, you know, certainly we're going to have to face ourselves when we pass from this space. And I think we'll be made aware of our impact on others in the world. But I think judgment is in this life is self-driven. I think that we're very hard on ourselves, and we live in a space of fear. And so that fear drives us to judge our own selves, and, you know, it gets this vicious cycle. But the reality is that when we pass from here, it's all about love. It's not about judgment.
Beautifully
Thank you,
said.
Bridget. Thank you. Well said. Well said. So overall, tying the judgment card to this reading, you know, the heart doesn't judge. And finding ways to connect with the heart, to love the heart more, will help us release that judgment. So I think this was a great reading. Thank you, everybody, for your energy into it, for those that spoke up out loud and those that just held the space. And for those of you watching online, you know, we all put our energy into this when we did that meditation so that we could get the most helpful reading for all of us. So thank you, everyone, for helping make this reading what it is. So now I think we're ready for our final thoughts, and we have two final thoughts to share. This first thought, I love this little guy. He's so Leo. He's wearing Leo colors. That sunflower yellow, that golden sunflower yellow is a Leo color. He's got this mane of hair on his head that's like a lion, and he's got a red crayon. And clearly he's thinking about how he can be creative, perhaps on Daddy's shorts, because they're not flamboyant enough. They're not Leo enough, and we've got to spice them up. So the quote reads, "When we fully accept the reality that we are imperfect human beings, prone to make mistakes and to struggle, our hearts naturally begin to soften." In other words, practice being a compassionate mess. So I think that's just a lovely Leo sentiment. You know, like, we strive for perfection, but we're human. So we have to let it go. We have to soften our hearts and be compassionate with ourselves. Being compassionate goes a long way to getting to know your heart and to showing your heart some love. So for our last final thought, I found this story that really touched my heart this week. It's the story of these two twin girls that were born in 1995, and they were born 12 weeks early. The older sister, she was making good progress and she was gaining weight, but her younger sister was so tiny. She was having breathing problems and heart rate problems. She wasn't gaining any weight. Her oxygen level was low and it was not looking good at all. And the practice at this time in the hospitals was to keep them in separate incubators to minimize the risk of infection. About a month after they were born, the younger twin, she went into critical condition. At this point, the NICU nurse decided to break from protocol. She did check with the parents, but she broke from the hospital protocol and she placed the twins in the same incubator. No sooner had she closed the incubator door that the younger one snuggled up to the older one and began to calm down. Within minutes, her blood oxygen readings improved. As she dozed, the older sister wrapped her left arm around her smaller sister, and then her heart rate stabilized and her temperature rose to normal. They called this the rescuing hug. I call it the power of the heart. The power of the heart cannot be underestimated. During Leo season, get to know your own heart. Love your heart. See what you and your heart can do together. That's our presentation for tonight. Our next call will be on Wednesday, August 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will learn about the power of discernment and choices as we ground into those earthy Virgo energies, which is all about choosing and deciding, the subtleties of choosing, like choosing paint colors, which is so hard because they're so similar sometimes. So thank you for watching. If you are live and you have time to stay on for a bit, I'm going to stop the video and we can chat. If you're watching on YouTube and would like to join us next month live, please visit loveyourlifeinsync.com and sign up to get on the email list so you can find out when the next Zoom call is and join in with us. If you'd like an astrology reading, or if you want to learn more about how your heart works and what it can do, how to work with it, please contact us. Have a playful and creative Leo season. Hope to connect with you very soon, and thank you again for watching. Sending you all big Leo love.